Hello everyone, maybe we'll start here outside Salford City Council in Swinton with this wooden statue of a miner. Not an underage person, but a man that used to go down the mines to mine for coal. Now, it's a bit sunny, I can't really see on my screen, but he's tiny. He's about maybe 4'10", sad little face. He looks scared, confused, lonely. It looks a bit pathetic. Now, if I was going to commission a bench with a statue to represent the hard-working, working-class men and women, but men here, obviously it's a man. I don't want to I'll come on to the misgendering in a second, but that's a pathetic little beta statue. I want a soaring atlas of a man holding up the world. I want Zeus. I want Poseidon. I want Apollo, not broken munchkin man. Anyway, this is the registrar's office where you can get married, have it signed up. There's some cameras there. Where's the clock tower? There's the clock tower, and it's another bright blue day. Why am I outside a British government institution here? Well, many of you over the weekend, not just in the UK, all around the world, because it is crazy, big, insane, really bad for Britain news. Back in December, a 38-year-old mother was arrested in front of her children by 3 police officers who confiscated her phone and her laptop, which she's not received back yet. And the reason this happened to her is that she got into some discussion on Twitter with a person called Stephanie. And Stephanie says that the selfhood of Stephanie is a woman. And the lady who got arrested said that Stephanie was a man. And for that, she was arrested and detained for 7 hours and treated very badly for a thought crime. Now, I read about this, I think it was Sunday morning, yesterday, and I tweeted this Stephanie person, Stephanie human, and I was like, Stephanie, this is not in the spirit of the law. This is not what British people fought and died for in the trenches. This is not where hundreds and thousands of young men gave up their lives for us to have freedom of speech, for us to be able to share our thoughts, for us to be able to argue on social media without having the knock on the door from the Gestapo, traumatizing your children, taking you away for a cell, like a runaway farm animal, like a pig that's run away from the farm. Got the farmer and his men got to tie you up in the metal shackles and take you down to the farm. Very dangerous, very, very dangerous. I cannot stress enough how insane and wrong this is, and how Britain is going to pay for this. They are. Do you think imposing these like mind control, kill free speech, kill free expression, and the British people, liberty loving, freedom loving, created the Enlightenment, are going to go, okay, yeah, okay, we're in the Soviet Union now, yeah, that's fine, okay, we can't speak to each other, can't argue. There's going to be a fight back, and you already see this fight back. You see the rise of this kind of populist working class movement across Europe, the Yellow Vests. You see the rise of the Yellow Vests in the UK. Now, tied into this, like into this whole mother of 3 gets thrown in jail for calling a transsexual a man. I was in central Manchester, and you know, I get a few free hours on Saturday. The kids are getting babysat by granny and granddad. So I go into the town, see what I can see, and there's about 100 Hope Not Hate, United Against Fascism, Socialist Workers' Party. They were there talking about Nazis. Nazis. I heard the word Nazi about 1,000 times. And I was like, that's a bit harsh. The Yellow Vests, Nazis. I'm like, let me get onto the main crux of my talk here. Is that there's British working class people who aren't sophisticated in intellectual bloody language. When they see someone they think is a man, they call it a man. They don't say, hey, human being, you were assigned male at birth because you have male chromosomes. You have XY chromosome. No, they're not going to say that. They're just going to say you're a man. Next thing you know, the Gestapo knocks on your door and you're arrested. Now, working class English, British, Welsh, Irish people, when they get upset, when they get angry, when things aren't going well for them, when they realize that Generation X, my generation, is the first generation to do financially and societally worse than the previous generation, the boomers, people get pissed off. Why did the white working class, or even brown working class, the Oriental working class, why did they vote to leave the European Union? It's because they're not getting any benefit from it. They don't see any benefit. They don't understand. They need to be helped to understand, not thrown in jail for saying you're a man. Now, you know, history repeats itself. And humiliation, subjugation. You know, the Versailles Treaty after World War I, when the Allies, you know, France, UK, whoever, said to Germany, fuck you, you're slaves now. Every Deutschmark you earn, we're going to take 99% of that for us, you peasant Germans. Go starve to death. Go buy bread with cash full in wheelbarrows, you know, a wheelbarrow full of cash. That's how you could, it's like Venezuela these days. What did the Germans do? They didn't, you know, this is a proud nation of opera, of Schopenhauer, of Immanuel Kant. I think Heidegger was Danish. Anyway, but look, German philosophy, German idealism, Schelling, proud nation. They turned into, literally, turned into goose-stepping, black leather uniform wearing, Jew-killing maniacs. Now, if you keep telling the British working class that they're deplorable, that they're pathetic, that they're uneducated, they're gonna turn nasty. It's called institutionalization. It's called labeling. People act out, you know, if you're the only black kid in the village and the whole village is pointing and going, look at that guy, look at that guy, you might be strong enough emotionally to rise above it, but usually you lash out, and sometimes you're right to lash out if everyone around you has gone completely nuts. Now, another thing that's going to happen in the UK with these Orwellian thought crimes, you literally have thought crime. You can't even express yourself online unless you use legal, verbose language. You can turn everyone who is able to into a lawyer. You have to be so careful with what you say. I mean, every video I make, I'm surprised I haven't been arrested for saying the word man or woman. But what's going to happen? Look, we are auto-segregating ourselves. Like, working class people are going to realize, whoa, not going to interact with transsexuals, not going to speak to someone in case I get arrested. You're going to find people withdrawing back into their own tribes and their identity groups. White people are going to stick with white people for fear if someone calls them racist. Chinese people will stick with Chinese people. Black people will stick with black people. Because everyone's scared of the racist, sexist, transsexualist label that's going around. Anyway, I was born too late to explore the world, born too early to explore the galaxy, but I was born just in time to start having kids when Europe descends into another World War II, but mind control, Soviet World War II. It's very disturbing. Now, I interviewed James Goddard. He's was with the Yellow Vest UK, getting shouted at, getting called a Nazi a million times. Nazi. It was very hard to interview him because all you can hear is Nazi, Nazi, Nazi. People on megaphones chanting Nazi, 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 Nazi. And if you use a word enough, it loses all meaning. The guy has a Star of David tattoo. He supports Israel. He supports the Jewish people. Is he a Nazi? It's very strange. And again, coming back to the whole working class uprising, the uprising of the popular, everyday, salt of the earth man and woman. It's very energetic, and it is a little bit scary if you're a petit bourgeoisie intellectual sat in your ivory tower thinking, oh God, working class people should stick in the fields and down the mines and in factories. Well, they're rising up and they have a voice. They literally, and I mean literally, with their hands and bruises and blood and sweat and tears, built the modern world. And the people who built the modern world deserve a bit of respect. And I've lived in Salford now, which is probably the most working class area in the UK, for 7 years. And the way they get treated, the way they get instantly labelled as fascist or far right or Nazi for getting passionate, the way they get thrown in jail for not having the sophisticated language to deal with a male to female transsexual. This is Charlie Veach. Today's the 11th of February 2019. I hope to make a happy video after this one.